Ain't got no crypto, ain't got no style, ain't got no Bitcoin to make you smile, but don't worry. G'day people of the internet, this is Simon and welcome to BlockXpert. Welcome back everyone, coming to you from beautiful Cornwall Park in the middle of Auckland. It's like equivalent to, what do they have, the Central Park in New York. Anyway, nevertheless, this week we're going to discuss about the big B. No, you guessed it wrong, it's not Bitcoin, it's about the blockchain. We're going to talk about how it started, a little bit about its history, who was involved, why is this technology so important, and yada yada yada. All right, catch you in a second. Here goes nothing. The technical explanation of the blockchain would be following. A blockchain is a decentralized, distributed, and oftentimes public digital ledger consisting of records called blocks that are used to record transactions across many computers so that any involved block cannot be altered retroactively without the alteration of all subsequent blocks. This allows the participants to verify and audit transactions independently and relatively inexpensively. Wow, what a journey that one was. Damn it! All right. Let's put it into layman's terms so we could all understand what the heck is going on. The journey begins in 2009 when Bitcoin network was created by this alleged bloke called Satoshi Nakamoto. And the chain was started by a Genesis block. The first ever Bitcoin transaction was received by this bloke called Hal Finley. So what he did is on 2004 he created the first reusable proof of work, and then in Bitcoin release date, which was I believe on the 12th of December 2009, he downloaded the software and received I think 10 Bitcoin from Nakamoto. The first commercial transaction of Bitcoin happened on the 22nd of May 2010 when this bloke Laszlo posted online that he would like to purchase 2 large pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins. And apparently this British bloke took him up on his offer and delivered 2 Papa John pizzas, which were worth around 25 US at a time. And well, the British bloke got the better end of the deal because even back then the 10,000 Bitcoins were worth around 41 US dollars. Well, fast forward 10 years. And those 10,000 Bitcoins are worth 606,390,000 US dollars. It would purchase you 2 of those Lursen super yachts and you would still have some change left over to do whatever you want and live very comfortably. This one is, by the way, number 122 on the super yachts Wikipedia database apparently. So yeah, sure, let's put all our money into the bank, into the savings account, and you know, yeah, right, mate.
How can I help you, young man?
I got a $100 check from my grandma, and my dad said I need to put it in the bank so it can grow over the years.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check in a money market mutual fund. Then we'll reinvest the earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
So, how exactly does the blockchain work? Technically, a blockchain is a chain of blocks ordered in a network of non-trusted peers. So each block references the previous one and contains data, its own hash, and the hash of the previous block. A unit of data stored inside the block may change depending on which blockchain you're interacting with. It might be something like an amount of money, or a share in a company, or perhaps even a digital certificate of ownership, aka an NFT. Have a look at our other video which I've done about NFTs and what they are and yada yada yada. Or you know, let's say a vote during an election or any other value. The block also contains a hash, and hash is like a value that's generated from a string using a mathematical function. The hash can be compared to like a fingerprint. So each hash is unique, and its role is to identify the block, find it in the blockchain, and identify its contents. Once a block is created, a hash will be calculated. And changing something inside the block causes the hash to change as well. So when a hash changes, it also indicates that there's been changes to a block. So each block also contains information about the previous block. For instance, if there's 3 blocks, then a block 3 will contain the hash of block 2, and block 2 will contain the hash of block 1. And if anyone changes the data in any one of those single blocks, then the hash of that particular block will change, and it also makes the whole chain invalid. A hash is definitely a great tool for identifying if anyone attempts to change data in the block. But a hash algorithm alone isn't enough to ensure the security and integrity of a blockchain. To mitigate the attempts to corrupt the blockchain and ensure its security, blockchain uses technology that's called a proof of work. Proof of work is sort of like a process that produces data that's hard to get but easy to verify. In the context of blockchain, the proof of work is about solving mathematical problems. If a problem is successfully solved, then a new block can be added to the blockchain. So on average, performing a proof of calculations and adding a new block to the chain takes about 10 minutes.
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
And but what's behind the proof of work process? The mechanism can be compared to a game of dice, for example. So let's say there's a specific number, for example, let's take 12, that a player needs to roll. So most likely the player will need to roll several times, but sooner or later they'll get 9. Now let's add more players to that game, but whoever rolls the correct number first wins. This is effectively how proof of work works. Together, the hashing and proof of work mechanism ensure the security and integrity of the entire blockchain. Since the blockchain consists an enormous number of nodes, each of them is simultaneously performing proof of work. Well, a situation when the several nodes manage to compare proof of work with a valid result are pretty common. Well, when this happens, it's called a hard fork, which describes exactly what happens to a blockchain it forks. Well, when a new blocks are created and added to one of those fork chains, it becomes the longest and again only valid chain. So blocks from other fork chains get rejected by blockchain nodes, and all the transactions contained in those blocks are sent for verification again. Alongside hashing and proof of work, there's another component called a digital wallet, which works to ensure the safety of transactions and helps to prevent fraud. A wallet generates a paired public and private keys that further ensure the security of transactions. A public key can be compared to something like a postal box, where you can put a letter inside, but only a postal worker who has that special key can open up the box and get the key out. This is similar to sort of how the keys work within a blockchain. Anyone can send a transaction using a public key to the address of a receiver. This is similar to putting a letter in the post box, but only the owner of that digital wallet address, and if they've got an access to that private key, can access the value of that transaction. Next, let's look at the distributed network. So anyone is allowed to join the blockchain peer-to-peer network. When someone joins a network, they get a full copy of the blockchain. And with distributed storage of data accompanied by effective hashing, proof of work, and digital wallets, fraud is pretty much impossible. So for instance, in order to add a block containing an invalid hash, invalid data, or you try to duplicate any of the blocks, or even perform a fraudulent, like a transaction or something, then an attacker would have to hack the computer of every participant in the blockchain network and slip in the invalid block. However, even if this were possible, none of the nodes would verify such a block, and it would just be ignored as it never existed in the first place. Well, let's look at our conventional banks now. As they show in the movies, to slip in a fraudulent transaction.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
So how do we implement this amazing new technology? Yeah, it's already been used for cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Polkadot, and Monero, and etc. And because they're decentralized, they're taking the first step towards an alternative financial model with no intermediaries. Well, another area that is revolutionized by blockchain would be making deals and trading. Well, traditional contracts are being replaced by smart contracts, which are virtually unbreakable, eliminating third parties and working for a wide range of applications, such as your employment contracts or wholesale and retail purchase agreements for purchasing property. Your intellectual property rights and their ownership, which we've discussed in our NFT episode, insurance, marriage contracts, and so much more. We'll talk about smart contracts in another episode, but blockchain has still a long way to go. Like for example, as a taxpayer, I'd like to know how my government is spending the money, and because the wallets are visible to anyone publicly, if you know the address, then you could pretty much track how your government is paying your taxpayers' money. So what do I think? I think that this whole industry, cryptocurrency, smart contracts, blockchain, etc., they're definitely causing a disruption, and slowly but surely they will be implemented by a lot of businesses. We're still at the early stages, but as we go along, it will change, and you'll see a lot more about it, and people are starting to wake up and understand what this technology is, and with the help of BlocXpert, you can do so very, very easily, hopefully. Well, this is another video from BlocXpert. Hopefully I've done this industry justice as usual, and if you haven't already, click the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Leave your comments below. Let's have a bit of a chat, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, eh?